Hello everybody, welcome back, and I'm TheChornick, and today, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, this episode, if not the best episode, definitely one of the best Pokemon episodes of the entire show. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 out of 10, legendary episode. The animation was just absolutely beautiful. This episode, you gotta go freaking see it. Like, this episode is the episode to see. Like, if you're gonna go watch Pokemon, and you have to choose just one episode if you've never seen it before, this is the episode you gotta go watch, because the animation is movie-like. It's godlike. It's beautiful. Like, I can't wait to see what the Ash versus Alon battle is gonna be like, because this, doggone it, was just absolutely gorgeous of animation. And like, Pikachu's tail. Look at Pikachu's tail. Look at freaking Greninja. Noivern with his Dragon Claw, and like Goodra, like getting hit by that flamethrower. Dude, all those scenes are absolutely beautiful. Like, the way they're handled, they just look amazing. I can't just stress that enough. So you just gotta go watch this episode. I definitely recommend it. Now, let's go into depth more with this now, shall we? Now, the first thing that pops up is obviously the end of the Pikachu and Aegislash battle, right? So they, attack each other and whatnot, and Tierno is mentioning that Ash has to get past that King Shield, I believe it's called. And so it keeps using King Shield whenever Pikachu attacks. And by golly, the animation with Aegislash when he's like flinging out the sword was just amazing. Okay, that was like the first thing that I was like, whoa. And then I saw Pikachu's tail later on, where Pikachu just, like, it's so gorgeously animated. Okay, I gotta calm down because it's just so beautiful. Anyway, so Aegislash kept using King Shield, and Pikachu kept attacking it, but, obviously not affecting it because he kept using King Shield. So Ash eventually decided to kick up all the rubble that Aegislash made with all the trees with Iron Tail. So Pikachu lands an Iron Tail on the field, and it kicks up all the rubble so that Pikachu could run around in it and escape from Aegislash from, ever attacking him, which it worked. And then right when Ash noticed that Aegislash goes into his shield when he uses King Shield, and so he told Pikachu to fire one of the tree stumps into the shield so Aegislash couldn't go into his shield. That was just genius. And then Aegislash went down into his shield, but then also Pikachu kicked a tree stump into his shield, and he couldn't get in the shield, and then Pikachu just unleashes a Thunderbolt and blows him up. And that was just an awesome beginning to this second parter. And wow, that was just that really got me hyped up, and that already gave me goosebumps. This entire episode just, we all know that Shota is gonna lose. Ash is gonna beat Shota, but there were times in this episode that really gave me goosebumps because of how intense and beautiful it was. And even if we didn't know that, Ash was going to beat Shota, there was one point in this episode near the end where it really looked like Shota was beating back Ash, like, as kind of a last chance thing. And Ash could have lost, and, but no, Ash came through in the end. But for this battle was just back and forth. It was intense. We didn't know who was going to win, who was going to lose, like, depending on the Pokemon. We didn't know which Pokemon was going to do what and how well they were going to do. But it was just fantastic. So Pikachu ends up defeating Aegislash, and so Shota sends out Salamence. The fields are changed, right? So goes away. Now there's no more tree field, and now there's just the rocky field. And he sends out Salamence, and then Ash sends out, Noivern. And so this is, like, to be honest, a pseudo-legendary versus kind of a pseudo-legend now, so they're both kind of dragons. So basically, I thought this was a really good battle, really good on Noivern's part, because the fact is he defeated Salamence, which no one expected. Everyone thought Salamence was going to defeat Noivern, and then Goodra was going to be sent out to defeat Salamence. But no, Noivern actually hung in there. It was a really nice, animated, intense battle. They did it well, and they, props to Noivern, though, for defeating a pseudo-legendary, defeating a Salamence, and Noivern ended up defeating him. His Dragon Claw looked absolutely gorgeous, and when they finally collisioned at the last part of the battle, they both wiped each other out. But god dang it, that was beautiful. I loved how that battle was handled. Props to Noivern. That was a huge plus for this episode. And then the next battle, which was, to be honest, no one really expected to happen, was well, they had Slurpuff and Goodra. What most people understood that was going to be the battle that was going to be handled, that they're going to be facing off against each other. But the thing is that how well Slurpuff did, and Slurpuff has kind of been a joke up to this point. And Goodra, like, we all know he has a 100% winning streak, so we thought Goodra was just going to blow Slurpuff out of the water, right? But no, Slurpuff actually, like, learned all these different moves, which, to be honest, like, I don't think no one has noticed this, is that he actually forgot Attract and forgot Energy Ball, and he learned Flamethrower, Fairy Wind, he had the other Fairy attack, and he also had that, like, kind of the defense attack, the defense, whatever that move was. But Slurpuff actually learned all these new moves within a couple days, so, and he fought off Goodra pretty well. I mean, Slurpuff has kind of been we kind of kick him to the side, he's kind of a joke on Shota's team, but Slurpuff actually fought well against Goodra, and to be honest, Goodra's first bide should have knocked out Slurpuff, but it didn't because Slurpuff not only hit Goodra once, so the bide wasn't really that powerful, but he also used that defense move which pretty much took down the attack power of that bide. So the second time Ash used bide, and Shota realized, like, oh, once this flamethrower is over, he's gonna knock us out with that bide. We gotta take him out now. And so he's like full power with that flamethrower, and Slurpuff was like, rah! And then it was just okay. I keep getting so happy, and my like cheeks keep getting bigger and bigger, and then and then I can't like talk because I'm so happy about this episode. But then Goodra unleashes bide at the end of it, and as of the last second, like, Shota's like, oh shoot, he survived, and he tells Slurpuff to use Fairy Wind, and they knock each other out. Also, another interesting thing to point out is that Shota did mention that he didn't know Ash had a Goodra, and so he was kind of worried there for a second when he was facing off against Goodra, because he didn't know Ash had a Goodra, so he didn't have a really good plan against Goodra. But props to Goodra for defeating a Fairy-type Pokemon who, technically, Slurpuff did have the advantage over Goodra. Now, let's move on to the one flaw of the episode, and that was Ash sending out Pikachu against Sceptile, which, to be honest, that didn't need to happen. The writers didn't need to put that in there. They could have took it out and added something else more important, but why would Ash use Pikachu against Sceptile here? Like, we know that he's going to use Ash Greninja. He knows he's going to use Ash Greninja. Maybe he's trying to beat down Sceptile for a little bit, but to be honest, I think Ash should have saved him, so it looks like it wasn't such a close match, like Ash still had 2 Pokemon left over. That's how I think it should have been handled, especially since the Elan battle is going to probably come down neck to neck, so that's why I think Pikachu should have been done after the Aegislash battle. But oh well. I think it's kind of funny how Ash just kind of puts him to the side, like, because, he can't really put him in his Pokeball, so he just puts him on the pad next to him and just lays him down and gets right back to the battle. That was kind of funny. But to be honest, that was the only flaw in this episode. Still 10 out of 10 legendary episode, though. Anyway, so the real big thing about the really kind of the icing on the cake was the Mega Sceptile versus Greninja fight. The animation was at its peak in this battle, and just this battle in general was just beautiful and well done. And right when Sceptile and Greninja like clashed, like with their cut and Leaf Blade, that's when I knew this was just gonna be the best thing we've ever seen ever. And Frenzy Plant, though, that thing is a scary move, dude, and Greninja has to constantly be dodging it. Tierno pointed out that Ash and Greninja were synchronizing and, synced with every single move and dodge that they were doing. It was pretty cool that, the writers showed that, the animation showed that, and, but Greninja finally transformed into his final form after Ash and Shota kind of had a moment by looking at each other, and this yellow aura kind of surrounded them, and they were both thinking about each other and like how this journey has been and all that good stuff. So that was pretty sweet and all that. But after that, Ash like closed his fist, and then he fused with Greninja, and they synchro evolution. Boom! Ash Greninja comes out, and then Shota sends out his Mega Evolution of Sceptile, and then the real battle started and began, and it was just amazingly well done, just absolutely beautiful. And The real icing on the cake, though, above all else during this battle in particular, like kind of the cherry on top of the icing. I'm trying to come up with different metaphors, whatever, but you know what I'm saying. But Shota, like, screaming his heart out, like, just crying when he saw Greninja come out with a double team, and Greninja's Mega Shuriken grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally he takes it out, he holds up in the air, and it just grows into, like, building size freaking Shuriken. Not quite the water fire shuriken that we see in the previews. Not quite that yet. That's going to be used against Alon. But he sends that out, and like Shota knows it's over. And he just screams out to Sceptile to use that Leaf Blade. Trying to, you know, throw punches when he's backed up in the corner, you know what I'm saying? But the Mega Shuriken just absolutely wrecks it and wrecks right through Sceptile. And boom, overdone. But that part where Shota was just like crying out at the last second, that was what gave me the biggest goosebumps in this episode and what really did it. And there was a point in this battle though where Sceptile was hitting Greninja hard, which to be honest, we didn't know the ending. That could have been, we probably would have been worried that Sceptile would have won right there, but luckily, you know, obviously he didn't. Ash is going to move on to the finals. He defeated Shota, and that's it pretty much for you guys. That was a great episode. Two other things I like to mention as well is that Serena, obviously, they had to throw in a moment with Serena, kind of a more shipping moment where she was just happy and blushing that Ash won. And then Team Rocket actually said, according to a translation, it's kind of rusty though, I don't know if this is what they actually said, but Team Rocket actually were surprised and they were like, wow, Ash may actually win this time, you know? And so that was pretty interesting to point out, is that Team Rocket now believes Ash is going to win this league. So, or maybe they're just referring to the battle, even though the battle kind of already ended, but I think they're referring to the league because the battle already ended. But anywho, so that was pretty much the episode. It was a 10 out of 10 episode, absolutely beautiful. Go watch it if you have not yet. The previews though, the previews for the next episode, even though it's a filler, it actually looks really interesting because Lysandre shows up and wants to talk to Ash about his Greninja, and then Manon shows up to watch Alon. Like, that's going to be really interesting. Chespin runs into her, and, you know, and Alon's there with Malva, talking to Malva, and looks like, you know, the Team Flare thing is about to heat up. But daggone, guys, I love you guys. Please post in the comment section below what you thought about this episode. If it's not a 10 out of 10, if you didn't absolutely love it, I don't know where your head is, but it was just beautiful, excellent. I wonder how godlike the freaking animation is going to be in Ash vs. Alon. I love you guys. Peace off.